Hello, I'm Andy Coulson, and welcome back to Crisis What Crisis, and another Crisis Comforts episode. Short but perfectly formed advice for getting you through the tough times. As regular listeners or viewers will know, at the end of our conversations, we ask all of our guests for their 3 crisis comforts, their go-tos for inspiration and strength during the challenging times. And over the years, we've accumulated some incredibly interesting, much more importantly, useful tips for anyone who might be feeling the weight of their own difficulties. I've just had a conversation with the award-winning actress Jill Halfpenny about recovery, grief, and the process of pouring all of those experiences into her new, very powerful, I think very useful autobiography, A Life Reimagined. Jill spoke about the childhood trauma of losing her father and then the shocking loss of her partner Matt in very similar circumstances in 2017. She was incredibly honest about the impact both of these losses on her life, but also she had some brilliant and I think very practical advice to pass on to others who might be suffering loss at this time or who might find themselves in the orbit of someone who is grieving. So as always, I urge you to listen to her full episode. You can find links below in the notes, but if you're short on time, you can listen now to Jill's 3 crisis comforts in this quick taster. Before you go, I'm going to ask you, this is where I rip off Desert Island Discs, by the way. Copyright alert.
Oh, I love it.
So, crisis comforts. Used to call them crisis cures until Julia Samuel. Do you know Julia Samuel, the grief counselor? She's amazing. She's one of the great humans. Yeah. And she said to me, she got very grumpy with me. She said, "You can't call them cures. There are no cures. You've got to call them." Good. So we changed them to comforts. Oh. So these are 3 things. You can't have another human being, I'm afraid, that you sort of lean on, rely on in those more difficult moments. Mm-hmm. So be as specific as you can, please.
Number 1, every single night I send a gratitude list to 2 friends and they send me theirs back, and I will list 10 things that day that I was grateful for. And in the midst of my deepest, darkest days, I was amazed to find that I could even type something like, "I had a nice cup of tea. The sun was out. The sky was blue." I mean, on the worst days, the things that I was grateful for were so basic. But that really taught me that those are the things that you can be grateful for. Again, I just couldn't believe that you could have one of the most terrible days you've ever had and still find something to be grateful for. And I think that gratitude muscle is, that has changed things for me.
That's interesting. I've never heard anyone describe gratitude as a muscle. So just the practice of it.
The total practice.
Gets you, very
because
good.
Then once you've done that, you'll be like, 10 things, I could name 30 things.
Yeah. That's
because,
very good.
It's the way your brain starts to work. So that would be the first one. Mm-hmm. Second one, get out of your head and into your body. We're just such a thinking, sitting.
What's your exercise of choice?
At the minute, I do quite a bit of weightlifting, which I love. I love putting that stress on my body. Can't think of anything else when you've got a barbell in your hand and you're shoving it above your head. I like anything that stops me from thinking. Cold dipping, people talk about that a lot. I do live by the sea, so I do a bit of that myself. Mm-hmm. It is amazing. Third one is really simple, but it's compassion. Because for a long, long time, when I was having a bad day and when I was struggling, my internal voice would be quite punitive, and it would be like, "Shut up, get a grip, come on, you've just got to get hold of this." And it's just easier to just have compassion and just say to yourself, yeah, you still do have to go to work, Jill. You're not going to take a day off, but it's all right. Like, you're having a bad day. Just like, it's okay to not be okay. I find it much easier to be friends with myself. Makes the day go a lot quicker.
Wonderful. Jill Halfpenny, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
If you've enjoyed this conversation with Jill, then please do leave us a review. And if you found it helpful or even inspiring, we would be delighted if you recommended us to your friends. You can watch the full episodes on YouTube, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And if you hit subscribe, you'll find lots more crisis conversations. As always, full transcripts are available on our website along with links. Just head to crisiswhatcrisis.com. Thank you so much for listening.
see